Welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today. So, we're going to be uncovering the hidden brain mechanics behind something you literally experience every single day in the classroom, and that's discussions. If you've ever found yourself wondering why your teachers are constantly, asking you to talk to your classmates instead of just handing over the answers, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to look at the actual science and the core philosophy of the International Baccalaureate program to show you exactly how your voice is the absolute most powerful learning tool you possess.
Let's be real for a second here. We have all been there. The teacher finishes making a point and suddenly drops the classic, "All right, turn and talk to your neighbor." Cue the immediate, super awkward eye contact, and those excruciating few seconds of just staring blankly at each other before someone finally breaks the silence. It can feel a little forced, right? You might find yourself sitting there wondering, why do teachers actually make us talk in class? I mean, why can't they just lecture, give us the notes, and let us absorb the information in peace? It honestly seems like it'd be so much faster. But, as we're about to see, the easy way isn't actually the way the human brain is designed to learn deeply.
Okay, let's dive into this with a really fascinating concept from psychology. Have you ever noticed that you understand a concept way better after you've had to explain it to a confused friend? Psychology actually has a name for this. It's called the protégé effect. Studies show that when you know you're going to have to teach something to a peer, you subconsciously put way more effort into understanding the material. You actually organize the knowledge completely differently in your head. It's essentially a scientific brain hack. By simply expecting to teach your classmate, you dramatically improve your own memory and retention. You aren't just helping them out, you are literally supercharging your own brain.
Now, this effect completely shatters an old, outdated myth in education, the myth of the passive learner. This is the idea that a student is just, an empty sponge, and the teacher simply pours knowledge into them. Actually, scratch that. It's not like that at all. The science of learning shows us that true learning requires a constructivist learner. A constructivist doesn't just sit there receiving information, they actively architect their own understanding. It's like a giant puzzle. You have to take new information, wrestle with it, and actively connect it to the things you already know. And social constructivism takes this a whole step further. This is the theory that knowledge isn't just sitting out there waiting to be discovered by yourself in a quiet room. It's actively co-constructed through social interaction and dialogue. Think of the famous psychologist Lev Vygotsky. He had this concept called the zone of proximal development. Basically, he showed that we learn best when a peer helps us bridge the gap between what we can figure out alone and what we can achieve with just a little bit of help. Or consider Jean Piaget's idea of cognitive conflict. Your ideas literally need to bump into the ideas of your classmates. When someone challenges your thinking, that friction, that spark, forces your brain to restructure its mental models and actually grow.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why the International Baccalaureate program is built from the ground up on this constructivist philosophy. If it sounds like a lot of work, well, it is, but the IB celebrates the fact that people work together to make sense of the world. Through this constant interplay of asking, doing, and thinking, the IB approach creates open, really democratic classrooms. It completely empowers you to engage with global challenges through inquiry and collaboration. You're not just memorizing facts for a test. You are learning how to learn alongside other people.
And because discussion is absolutely vital, the IB actually formally assesses it. We're not just talking about casual chatting here. You might encounter formal Harkness discussions. Yes, even in rigorous science classes like DP chemistry, where you are actually graded on how collaboratively you explore the nature of science. You'll engage in collaborative reasoning and Socratic circles, where you have to use solid evidence to back up your statements. The IB knows that language conveys multiple meanings and personal stances. So to succeed, you have to be able to articulate your viewpoint and defend it right there in real time. So the crucial point is exactly what educators mean when they say that negotiating meaning and developing understanding is a social process. I absolutely love that phrase, negotiating meaning. It really implies that understanding isn't just handed to you on a silver platter. You have to work for it. You got to trade ideas, clarify your thoughts, and sometimes compromise. You don't truly understand a text or a complex scientific concept until you've had to articulate it out loud, defend it to a classmate, and integrate their perspective into your own worldview. But let's be totally clear here. Not all talk is created equal. Educational researcher Neil Mercer gives us this fantastic little checklist for what good discussion actually looks like, breaking it down into 3 types. First, there's disputational talk. Think of that deeply frustrating group project where everyone is just arguing without actually listening or negotiating, just heads butting. Second is cumulative talk.
That's when everyone in the group is just polite nodding, agreeing, and building on each other without ever critically challenging the ideas. It's polite, sure, but it doesn't push your brain. What you as an IB student really need to aim for is number 3, exploratory talk. This is where the magic happens. You challenge each other respectfully, you provide reasoning, and you actively co-construct new, much deeper knowledge together.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the number 0.82. What does that actually mean? Well, educational researcher John Hattie synthesized massive amounts of data to find out what actually works in schools. And he found that dialogues between and among peers have a massive effect size of 0.82. To put that into perspective for you, anything over a 0.4 is considered a standard year's worth of growth. So an effect size of 0.82 means that engaging in robust peer dialogue can literally give you over 2 years' worth of academic growth in just a single year. Your conversations are quite literally accelerating your intelligence.
And the benefits? They go way beyond just getting better grades. They actually rewire you neurologically. Academically, you build cognitive flexibility, which is the thrill of having your mind stretched by a brand new idea. But socially and emotionally, it's a massive brain hack. When you engage in exciting, enjoyable debate, your brain releases dopamine, and dopamine acts like an autosave feature for your memory, making that information stick long-term. At the same time, building relationships through classroom talk releases serotonin that stabilizes your mood and builds genuine empathy for your peers. So talking literally makes your brain happier and your memory stronger. It's a win-win.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to challenge you to drop what we might call the illusion of knowledge. The illusion is thinking that just because you read a chapter or passively listened to a teacher, you know the material. You don't. Because knowledge isn't just discovered, it is negotiated. You don't truly own a concept until you have successfully explained it, defended it, and really explored it with someone else. Which leaves us with one final incredibly important question to consider as you step into your next class. Your classroom isn't just a room with desks, right? It's a laboratory for your mind, and your peers are your co-architects. So I leave you with this. What will you build with your voice today? Keep exploring, keep talking, and I'll see you in the next explainer.